Hello, my name is Shay Grimm, and I'm representing Troop 821. I will be presenting to you my costume designs for the Phantom of the Opera musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber. In this project, I used my inspiration and unifying concept is 80s alternative and gothic fashion, high fashion, as well as fantasy and other things like that. In this project, I use a lot of textures that are very intentional to the characterization of the character they are portrayed on. When I designed Phantom, I used this soft fur texture to represent the soft way that he represents himself and shows himself to Christine, and underneath is this jagged, more rough texture to symbolize him and who he really is and his real character. As well as using color to represent him. It's very classic, but it has rougher, more fantasy themes to it. When I used the color gold and white to represent Christine and how she's a part of him, and also the rose to represent the rose that he gives to Christine to lure her in. So it is a little bit of a representation of the luring and captivating sort of presence that Phantom has, as well as putting it near his chest to signify that she is near his heart, as well as using the color red, which represents power and death, as well as black, which is the color of evil, power, and death as well. I also use texture and silhouette a lot in my design of Madame Giry. With this asymmetrical bottom, I represent how she is as a character, as well as the fur, which Phantom also has, to represent her more soft and alluring side. When I chose the fabric of velvet, I was thinking of the duality of the fabric and the texture and the feelings that it portrays. When most people think of velvet, they think of a soft, pleasant texture, but when other people think about it, they think of it as rough and jagged and very unpleasant. I thought this was very fitting for Madame Giry because she has a tendency to be a character on which you perceive how she is. She is nor good nor evil, but it is up to perspective. As well as using jagged angles and things like that to make her more sinister, as well as bring nods to the 80s and the the silhouettes they used at the time. When I was designing Carlotta, I had ideas in my mind of her personality and the fiery and more outgoing personality that she has in comparison to the other characters. She has these feathers, which are represented by this tool. I did not have the feathers. And also this red fabric covered with this more sparkly fabric is to represent how she shines in the spotlight. And in a stage setting, this would obviously, because of stage lights, make her shine literally. As well as representing how her flashiness shrouds her real true personality, which is a little bit brash and fiery and kind of powerful. As well as using the silhouette of a 80s sort of classic 80s high fashion dress at the time. Well, with Christine, I was very inspired by classic Christine, and I am aware that it is very classic to put her in white and gold, but I think it is important to her character because gold represents purity and value, and the white represents innocence and purity as well. When I was putting like this metal heart embellishment on her chest. It was to represent how she is a heart of gold, but it is shrouded by this black and silver to represent the Phantom and how he is surrounding and impurifying her. As well as metal and, gold being a precious metal, and she is a precious character. With texture, I use this beading to make her more complex, and as well as this more sheer, white fabric to sort of give her more of a airy effect. And then lastly, I have Raoul, and he has a less complicated design, but it is still important to who he is. I used blue to represent loyalty, and in some cases it can be seen as honesty, as well as the golds to represent Christine, and the white to make him feel more connected to Christine and who she is as a character. His design is definitely more plain because I wanted to put into perspective his character in sort of juxtaposing the very outgoing and very complicated character that the Phantom is. His plainness makes him special because he is a character who is straight up and honest and loyal to Christine. Some of my constraints when working on this project were lighting. In my theater particularly, we only have 6 lights, so the darker colors on the presentation would have to be lightened up quite a bit in order to see the contrast, which is what I did in the designs, making them more of a dark gray slash light gray situation instead of pure black. As well as this, budget obviously has to come into the picture. Because this is a theoretical show, I was less concerned about the budget, but in my theater we have a budget of around $100 for costumes, so it would have to be mostly sourced from thrift stores, and 80s fashion is very commonly found in thrift stores, so it would be easier. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for coming.